This programming is sponsored by Chariot Energy, energizing homes and businesses with solar power made in Texas, offering renewable energy and solar buyback plans. Details at chariotenergy.com. PUCT number 10260.
Giving them transfusions at the point of injury. That means a medic running around in the field has the blood in their backpack. And when someone gets wounded, they can call over to them and give them the blood.
Alan's project is being funded by the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, at the U.S. Department of Defense. The researchers are on a strict 5-year timeline to create something that not only works, but can be reasonably manufactured. And Alan's part, the artificial red blood cells, are just one piece of the puzzle. Research teams at other universities and institutions across the country are working on freeze-dried plasma, platelets, and other components that, when combined, will more closely resemble human blood and its various functions. Alan says this is the first time different groups are collaborating in this way.
It's as if we needed to make an airplane, and we've got people over here making an engine, and over here making a wing, and over here making wheels, but nobody's trying to put it all together.
Alan has dedicated 2.5 decades of his career to blood and red cell research. He says he's never before felt so close to success. Right now, he's testing the cells in short-term animal studies. After that, there will be more animal studies and then clinical trials in humans if all goes according to plan. And as for the future uses of artificial blood, he says the sky is not even the limit.
There's also the moon, or, some space travel, or other really exotic locations where it's just, you can't do transfusions. So you can't take blood from Mars. So there needs to be blood, in fact, for successful space travel. You have some things.
For The Pulse, I'm Nicole.
That's our show for this week. The Pulse is a production of WHYY in Philadelphia. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Our health and science reporters are Alan Yu, Liz Tong, and Grant Hill. Marcus Biddle is our Health Equity Fellow. Alan Hinnage is our intern. Charlie Kyer is our engineer, and this week we had additional engineering from Adam Stanishevsky. Our producers are Nicole Curry and Lindsay Lazarski. I'm Megan Scott. Thank you for listening.
Behavioral health reporting on the Pulse is supported by the Thomas Scattergood Behavioral Health Foundation, an organization that is committed to thinking, doing, and supporting innovative approaches in integrated healthcare. WHYY's Health and Science reporting is supported by a generous grant from the Public Health Management Corporation's Public Health Fund. PHMC gladly supports WHYY and its commitment to the production of services that improve our quality of life.
Some parents would prefer their kids don't read school books about LGBTQ people. It's a familiar story of so-called parental rights, but with a less familiar demographic. The parents in this case are American Muslims. We're going to hear from the parents and their critics ahead on today's Fund.
Tonight at 7, Monday night at 7, here on News 887. This is News 887. I'm Brenda Valdivia. There's a heat advisory in effect until 9 p.m. on Tuesday. Expect the temperatures to stay in the lower hundreds. Tonight's low is 80 degrees. Thursday does have a 20% chance of thunderstorms. It's currently 97 degrees here at the University of Houston. Support comes from St. Luke's Health, committed to expanding access to healthcare and advocating for the vulnerable. Virtual visits are available. Information on services, specialties, and more at stlukeshealth.org.
Tonight on Houston Public Media TV8, after a new episode of Mystery Riddling at 7. Don't miss new episodes of Grantchester at 8 and D.A. Ray at 9. Watch them live tonight on TV8 or stream anytime on the PBS app and Passport.
This is KUHF Houston News 887, your NPR station. Thank you for spending
suicide bomb attack. Kenya's foreign minister tells us why his country is ready to lead a multinational force into Haiti. Also, the story behind the late Sinead O'Connor's song, The Unexpected Person, inspired Prince to write Nothing Compares to You.
That morning, Prince was in a really bad mood because his housekeeper, Sandy Scipione, had to leave unexpectedly.
That's after the latest news.
Hello, this is the BBC News with Fiona MacDonald. Police in northwest Pakistan say at least 37 people have been killed in a suicide blast at a rally organised by the Islamist Party in Khyber province. Dozens more were injured in the explosion in the Johor district, where the Jamiyatullah Islam Fazl was moving a meeting. Caroline Davis is in Islamabad.
We know that some are currently being treated, obviously, relatively locally nearby, but that would very quickly overwhelmed. Instead, people being taken further afield, people taken to Peshawar, because this is a rural area. So there's been plenty of speculation about what might be behind it. There's been discussion about whether this is about some form of political pressure being put on. This is, of course, a party that is currently part of the coalition in the government. There's discussion about whether this is a localised issue or whether it's something wider. And the thing is that we just don't know at this stage. This is not entirely clear exactly what the motive is behind it.
The West African regional grouping ECOWAS has threatened to use military force against the soldiers who have seized power in Niger if they don't restore the elected president within a week. After a meeting in Nigeria, ECOWAS leaders said they had zero tolerance for coups. The group's president, Omar Touré, also announced a range of sanctions.
Suspension of all commercial and financial transactions between ECOWAS member states and Niger. Freeze all service transactions, including energy transactions. Suspension of Niger from all financial assistance and transactions.
President Zelensky says Ukraine is becoming stronger and the war is inexorably moving onto Russian territory, to its symbolic centres and its military bases, as he put it. He was speaking hours after Russia sent it down 3 Ukraine drones over Moscow. Mr. Zelensky also claimed Russian aggression had suffered bankruptcy on the battlefield. James Waterhouse reports from Kiev.
Inevitable, natural and fair is certainly a level up from Kiev's normal approach of not admitting responsibility for attacks inside Russia. Whilst far from a confession, President Zelensky clearly feels confident enough to pile on the pressure. And not just on the Kremlin, drone attacks like these are also an opportunity for him to try and address the Russian population, where the majority believe Moscow's invasion is just and righteous, or choose to believe that. If they connect explosions close to home with what's going on in Ukraine, as per Mr. Zelensky's suggestion, it makes it that bit harder for Vladimir Putin to justify his invasion.
Officials and diplomats in the Gulf have confirmed reports that Saudi Arabia will host talks on Ukraine earlier next month to try to identify the possible first steps towards peace. Diplomats are quoted as saying the talks will take place in Jeddah next weekend and involve Ukraine's Western allies as well as influential developing countries. Russia has not been invited. BBC News. Spain's Socialist Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has rejected a call from his Conservative rival for face-to-face talks to resolve the deadlock left by last week's general election. Alberto Feijóo's People's Party won the most seats in Parliament, but neither party is in a position to form a majority coalition. Mr. Feijóo wants the Socialists to abstain in a parliamentary vote so that he can become Prime Minister. The Afghan Taliban say they've burnt confiscated musical instruments and equipment in the western province of Herat. The departmental head of the Ministry of the Promotion of Virtue and Prevention of Vice said the performance of music contributed to moral corruption. Sanjay Dasgupta reports.
So far, it's been Afghan women who have borne the brunt of the Taliban's austere, mirthless vision of an Islamic society. Now, it's the turn of music makers. In Herat on Saturday, thousands of dollars worth of confiscated musical gear went up in smoke. A guitar, 2 other stringed instruments, a harmonium, drums, amplifiers, speakers. For local Taliban officials, music leads to moral corruption. So Herat, famed historically as a great center of Islamic art and culture, must hear no music, only the sound of silence.